Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Miami Minutes, the podcast where we strike back in great vengeance and furious anger those who would threaten to poison and destroy our Jeffs. And you will know we are the Miami Ninja when we lay our vengeance upon you. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGann.
And here delivering vengeance right to your mailbox every Saturday or to your podcatcher feed. It is I, John Parker.
I was one, particularly as a person who comes from Ireland, an island that has a history of people putting things in boxes when they're looking to get vengeance on people.
Oh, dear.
In cars or, just like... So when it had a whole big thing of like, we're going to go get Dragon Sound, and the next thing is Jim going, opening the mail. I was like...
Don't do it!
Like, oh my God, man, go open! But no, they don't have the budget for that, I don't think.
I wonder if the very next scene is someone like turning a key in a car. You're like, no! The rest of the movie, you're going to be on edge.
Oh, the car next door blows up, and it cuts to like Yashito, like, damn it, I knew I read that address wrong.
Oh God, oh dear.
But no, we are here for minute 69, dudes.
Woo!
So we do it every year on Bat Minutes, and but if you haven't listened to that show, we always will make. We don't make as many 69 jokes as you would possibly think, but.
Oh, well, we're going to make more today, then.
We'll see. Well, if they occur organically, of course, we'll bring them up.
That's the thing with us, right, listeners? We go where the chat takes us.
Yeah.
Maybe it will take us to 69 jokes and things like that. Maybe it will.
69 whole jokes we're going to do throughout this whole episode. That's the plan.
Start counting. But it depends what you consider a joke.
We might have gone through like 4 of them already. You don't know.
Exactly. We are a joke, so that's 2.
But yeah, minute 69 opens with some
nice.
shuffling in the autumn leaves. Ends a minute later with a visit from not visit from the postman, because the postman's already been. But I was watching actually an episode of I kind of fell backwards into rewatching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm recently, just because it was and it was one of those ones later seasons where I'm like, it went off the boil by then a little bit, and I'm watching them now with a less like expecting more. I'm like, oh no, these are actually great. I was just like, I think I was just been too harsh on them originally, but
well, you're comparing them to perfection. That's the thing.
Those first like 3 or 4 seasons of Curb, it was like, that's the best comedy you're gonna get. Whereas later on, it gets a lot more cartoony. And a lot less like, no, he is just being an asshole now. And it's just like, fuck, why would you ever hang out with this guy and stuff like that? Where originally, at the start of the show, I was always like, oh, Larry's always right. And it's the world overreacting to him. And I think they always listen to people saying like, well, obnoxious asshole. And then they morphed him into that. And it's like, oh, I don't like that as much. But then when you just accept it and get on with it, it's like, no, there's still plenty of funny stuff in there.
No, I'm with you. In the beginning, it was more like, I was on his side. And he sort of represented what you want to do and say when people act like this to you.
Yeah.
It was almost like, oh, he's an ideal.
Mm.
And then they changed it into, oh, no, he's a jerk. Okay.
He just keeps putting his foot in things and never... And the thing is, at the end, he always gets a comeuppance of some sort. And he just never learns from the scenario. But it's like, well, at least the show itself is acknowledging, like, he has been a dick now, rather than, like, trying to, But anyway, there was a whole episode where... Like, he started dating his mail carrier. It was like a woman, of course it's Curb, so it's a beautiful young woman. is
the most stunning women in the world.
And somehow she's smitten with Larry David.
I love that he puts that in there, because I don't think it's ego. I think he knows it's funny.
Oh, yeah, but it's just ridiculous. Like, okay, what's he got? Money? He's not charming. Like, he is...
He is very rich.
But actually, weird enough, in that same episode, because they go out on this date, and then, like, obviously, thing goes wrong, but, like, he says, like, at the end, it's like, I want to reset our whole relationship to go back to just being male person, and, because, the amount of work it takes for me to get ready to do this, like, all the witticisms I have to prepare. And she's like, you prepare witticisms? Like, oh, that whole story I had there earlier. No, I was preparing that ahead of time. No, that didn't come up organically. But it was weird to me because he was just like, yeah, I'll have to talk to you every day. And it's like, I never, really? unless the postman rings the doorbell to give you a package that won't fit. I would never interact with him. But he treats it as if like, no, it's every day you will talk to your postal worker.
And even if they do have a package for you, usually it's just, here's your parcel, thanks, bye.
Yeah. Or like a lot of the time now, like particularly because my hometown in Ireland is so small and nothing ever happens there. And like the Good Friday Agreement was, 25 years ago or 26 or 27 years ago? So like people aren't worried about that kind of stuff anymore. But my dad, he gives out about it actually, because whenever he has a package, they just open the door, walk into his porch, put it down, and walk out.
Oh, right.
And he's just like, and he did it. There's times he sits and plays guitar on his porch sometimes. And the guy did it when he was there. And he didn't notice that my dad was sitting there. But he was like,
what if he was naked?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, and also, you're going into someone's private property. You're literally opening the door and going. But then over in Liverpool is the opposite thing for me, because I've come home sometimes to find very valuable packages just left beside the door. As if that's it. So, I don't know, maybe I'm disproving my own point now, but I'm like, why would you talk to your post person every single day? Because you could just get them to leave it outside. And as in the end of this minute, yeah, of course it sounds like, so I didn't, long roundabout way, that episode of Curb didn't understand Larry's problem, because it was just like, just say to her, when you're coming, just leave the mail outside now, I'll just get it whenever. Like, leave it in a box.
To be fair, it would be a little bit awkward if you had to talk to her, right? You know?
Yeah, no, I understand. But then, for comedy purposes, they stretch it into, like, she just refuses to come to his house anymore. He can't get his post. And then he's walking home from various other, like, a million things always happen in an episode of Curb.
Yeah.
So he's walking home battered and bruised from a Civil War reenactment he was involved in. And she speeds by in the truck and is like, here's your post, asshole, and flings out a lot of packages at him. And it's a very, like, it's a good, satisfying ending, but it's just very, like, wow, it's a lot of, to even begin to explain how it led up to that point. But no, so my whole thing was, and then, because this is, like, we're not even at the end of the minute yet, but now I'm on the topic. I was always a little weirded out by this in that, like, that seems only overly secure to make sure that, like, you have the postman's literally handing your post every day. Yeah. To when I was a kid growing up, seeing mailboxes and stuff, I was always like, that's very unsafe, isn't it? Like, so you have this thing out way at the bottom of your garden, and they leave stuff in there and then put up a little thing to tell you that there's stuff in there.
And also telling other people, surely.
That's what I'm saying. We'll just walk past, like, yoink, and just walk away with it. Like, that's demented.
I could half understand if you had to have a key, but at the same time, you could still just smash that open. It's not like...
Oh, totally.
Difficult, and then, is it?
The other thing is that you see in things like Dazed and Confused, where, like, kids will just drive around with baseball bats knocking over. So the whole system seems so flawed to me. Because maybe they think it's, because it's quite uniform. You're walking down the street, you stop by the boxes, you don't have to go into the gardens. So you're safe from dogs, and it's a bit less legwork. But also you're giving up. And the UK, and I'm assuming the rest of the world, got it down where it's like, you put a flap on your door. And they go up,
American listeners, we should clarify that, because I know some American friends on my Facebook and that were a little bit surprised by how it works here. You literally just have a flap on your door and they push it through, and it's in your house. Then
I've actually now rewound. We're doing this minute very backwards.
Have they got? Oh my god, they do have one.
Yeah, you go to like second 44. They got a fucking mail flap. What are you doing?
Oh, okay. That's extra astonishing. There. Oh, right.
No. I've got a lot of things to say about that door in general, quite frankly. But we should probably go back to the start.
We will. We'll get to the door. We'll get to it when we get.
Don't you put a pin in that door? We'll be back. But yes, of course, we do start off with some stock footage, much of which I believe was shown at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Because I definitely remember those like guerrilla style moves of the ninjas like scuttling across the little rope bridge and stuff.
Plus, they probably shot those guys doing this kind of thing for about 2 hours. And we're like, okay, well, we actually only needed 15 seconds of footage. So.
But beyond the one that was very, I'm pretty sure I would always have remembered that gorilla going across, because that's a very distinct image. Mm-hmm. Not just down to us doing it minute by minute. I'm pretty sure that would have stuck in my head anyway. But the rest of it's all like, this is, for a montage of stuff, it's pretty cool. Like,
it is. But did you notice something right at the beginning when you see the shot of them running through the leaves?
Yeah, there's a cut.
And it's just looped.
Yeah. Oh, do you think it's just looped? I thought they cut and then they had to set up to get another guy to come in.
No, watch it again. I'm 99% sure.
It's just
loop it.
the same bit of footage over. No, actually,
because
I don't
they
think so.
probably didn't have enough people at that specific moment. We're like, just run it twice.
Even when they were editing it as a montage, like, I really wish we got some guy's feet running across. We got a camera. Let's go do it now.
I reckon they did it at the ones, and then in the editing, we're like, that looks weird. I don't know. Like, we need to, because all the other shots, you see multiple people going by, like, bah, 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 bah. So one shot of feet, I think they were just like, this isn't flowing. So they looped it. And I mean, I won't fault them for that. Star Wars famously looped something.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, of course, even the greats, like Joel Schumacher with Batman and Robin, are just we need a shot of Chris O'Donnell under the water. Let's just reverse it, and no one will notice that he's not actually struggling. It's
no
just
one's going to look at it minute by minute.
Yeah. And again, I'm pretty sure in the cinema at 10 years old in 1997, I was like, you just reversed the footage. What the hell? Like, you can't do that and think it looks okay. Come on.
I'm such a sucker. I didn't even notice. Back in the day, obviously, when we covered it on the show, I did.
Yeah.
But I don't think I even really noticed in Star Wars. I think I just got the vibe as a kid, like, oh, there's something weird about that character, about sand people. It must be strange.
Yeah. No, when it gets into, like, aliens and stuff, you're just like, again, that was always one of my things with, like, people saying, like, oh, that puppet looks so fake. I'm like, maybe aliens just look like that. Like,
maybe that species of alien looks like a puppet.
Yeah, you're talking to a Yoda. It's like, I felt like I was talking to a little puppet. It's like that's just the texture of his skin and stuff. That's the way he looks. I was fine with that.
Exactly, and that's the same with ninjas.
Mess it all up by going into CGI, and you're like, all right then. But anywho.
As we were saying there, maybe this is just how ninjas move. Maybe it's not looped footage.
Yeah, somehow they managed to get the leaves to land back perfectly where they were before.
Yeah, it's part of their magic, of the ninja. You can't tell where they've been because that happens around them.
I'm guessing this is just because it's well, I guess we can't really tell what season it is because it's Florida, so it's like. I guess does Florida ever get cold? Because like this looks like, again, they're out in the forest, so maybe there is just a lot of like foliage falling down and stuff. But these look like dead autumn leaves to me.
I agree. I mean, I don't know a lot about sort of American topography and weather and things like that, but it looks autumnal. And also, like, it looks a little bit. I don't want to say cold, but it looks colder than you imagine, Miami. It's technically not Miami.
Well, are we back in? We're back. Oh, no, because they are the Miami Ninja. So I think we are back in Miami for the moment here.
Well, not in shooting, though.
Oh, yeah, we're going, yeah.
But that's the thing, not in shooting. So it's like, I picture it slightly differently. But again, I've not been, so I don't know. It almost looks, I don't know, these woods almost look a little bit English. Bigger trees, maybe.
They've gone to where they shot Robin of Sherwood back in the 70s.
It's got a Robin Hood vibe.
That's, you catch that, that's repeated every time I'm back at my dad's and you just have access to like, oh, this is the normal TV. And you see that, like, oh, they're still showing Robin of Sherwood, the Robin Hood ITV series from the 1970s.
Still?
And it's like they're still showing it. And, like, I know people are like, oh, it's amazing. It's a great show. And he watches, like, it just looks like a bunch of GCSE students have gone and shot this, like, for their sixth form project or something at the back. It's like.
One of my biggest problems with anything in that era is I always think, I don't know if it's the film they used, but none of the colors ever look right.
No.
It's way off. It's weird looking. It looks like you're watching, a play.
That's
with teenagers.
And people always used to make fun of Doctor Who for that. And it's just like, no, it's just all TV. Like, all British TV anyway, because like, this is like, at least Robert or Doctor Who had the benefit of like, oh, we can have an alien made of bubble wrap because it's an alien. Again, people might be like, maybe aliens just look as if they're made of bubble wrap. I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. You've not seen one, have you?
Yeah, but Robin of Sherwood, you're just like, oh, that doesn't look like that really looks like a costume you got on there, man. That sword sure looks dull.
it's such a weird thing, like, because it's almost like a je ne sais quoi. Because, Star Trek, I love Star Trek, the original series. Love it. It's my favorite one. All the outfits, whenever they're off the Enterprise, you're like, well, even the ones on the Enterprise.
Yeah, the whole...
But especially when they're off the Enterprise, you're like, you don't look like a Nazi. I think it was last minute where I mentioned, the ninjas are heading into battle. And then immediately in this minute, you go, oh, wait, no, they're just training for battle.
Yeah.
On a child's obstacle course.
Oh, I get a little... I think I'm pretty sure it came up probably back when we were talking about it originally, but I was thinking of the Krypton factor.
1,000%, yes, and I think we did bring that up because it's one of the greatest shows ever made.
It's another ITV show from back in the day, but because I was a game show and you weren't expecting much, even though it was all cheap sets, I was like, no, it looks right. The Krypton factor from the early 1990s looks immense to me. Well, I did have to say, the one thing that really reminded me very Krypton factor-esque was its second for this little hurdle thingy. I thought that was just genuinely impressive. Where you see some of this stuff, it's like, it's this asshole running around the woods. But that's this sort of thing. Like, it looks again like a children's, play thing. It doesn't.
Yeah, I used to do this as a kid. This exact move.
Yeah, but running up to it and then like, grabbing both bars and swinging your whole body over the top. And it's like, no, it's that's a proper bit of. It looks like it would be part of an intense workout. So I'll give them. I would not be surprised if this was part of YK Kim's workout for when getting people in taekwondo shape.
I would think so, because when I've only just, as of recording, started working out again, but when I used to work out all the time, one of my favorite moves was something really similar to this. You could do it just with the floor. But it's the same motion. So you just grab the floor and you fling yourself, but you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And you think, that'll be good for your legs. And it is good for your legs. But most importantly, I found it really went crazy on your abs. Because you push, I don't know, I think it's that position and that motion and just the way you're hunched. So I imagine these guys probably do this all day long, and it'd be a good workout, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that. It inspired me. But speaking of hardcore and working out, we of course have this little springboard thing that the guys go over.
I love that. That looks like a laugh.
Well, that's the thing. That is part of it. I know, because I have been, I mentioned earlier, I've taken kids back and forth to nursery. There are play parks in the park as well that I've taken the kids into. That is a thing that's just in there. It's just a little board with springs underneath it, and they just kind of bounce on it. They're like, hey, this is fun. I don't know how much. I'm sure people can tell me why. I'm guessing maybe it works your ab. If you kind of squat on it and bounce up and down, maybe it's helping your legs or something, or like forcing your legs to kind of go down to make the bounce happen. Well, is part of the workout. Is that it?
That's an interesting thing to consider, actually, because most of the training they're doing and the moves they do, you can understand the application in the real world.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, when they're in a fight, they haven't got a trampoline or like a spring. So, what? How's it helping?
I'm guessing maybe it strengthens the leg muscle, so then your kick is more powerful, kind of thing. It's
yeah, maybe
it's getting you geared up for a spring kick or something like that.
Any exercise nuts? Let us know, because I am now very interested.
Yeah. It looks a bit rusty as well. This thing though, it doesn't look like. I guess it's out in the open, so it's like if you have an outside gym, you are at the mercy of the elements. So.
Well, plus, Florida's a very humid location, isn't it? So I imagine that would promote some rust and things.
Of course, yeah. I mean, they're going to be getting heavy rain, and then immediately after, it's going to be, hot air coming in through there, too. It's just like, it's a nightmare out there. Like, why did you invest in this, Yashito? Like, everything else is wood. I mean, that makes sense. But why would you put this out there?
He's doing the best he can. Okay, he's an up-and-coming entrepreneur.
There's like a deleted scene of him on the phone with his guy going like, what do you mean they don't make wooden springs? Why wouldn't they?
That should be his business. He develops a wooden spring. He gets out of the drug game. There's more money to be had in legitimate business, as we saw in Austin Powers.
That'll be one of the sequel plans, but then it's like, I need a partner. I'm going to have to go. Who has money in town to invest? It turns out the most successful band in the world, Dragon Sound.
Oh my God, yeah. It's basically, look, it writes itself. It's basically like Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
You know, the way Danny's become a successful local businessman. That'll be Mark. Mark has opened taekwondo schools. It's meta. What?
I think it's in Cobra Kai, though. It was always like, oh, yeah, you embarrassed me in a karate tournament back in 1984. This is just like, oh, no, like the murder has occurred.
That's
like
all water under the bridge.
It's like he killed Jeff. We'll see Yashito as a morning flashback to his time singular with Jeff in a moment.
Oh, we will. But first, actually, these ninjas, they roll on the ground. Which is a drink, because it explicitly says, you know, their armadillo reflexes rolling on the ground. Baby, take a drink.
Here's a question, though, because now these guys are all in training, and we know the Miami Ninja are already well honed. But, like, this also strikes me as that it could have been potential for comedy in that... Like, we had a thing of like, oh, God, boss, we got a big problem. You know, the previous minute. Boss, we got a big problem. Jeff's men are now here. And we know Jeff's men are fighters. We know they work out. But they aren't ninjas. They're like, they seem to know, they know martial arts and stuff, but they're not like Yashito level. So there could have been a humorous bit of like them having to put on the gear and then been shown how to do the obstacle course and stuff. And
that would actually be cool, like training them in the ways of the ninja.
Yeah, so you had Vader and Kid Rock and all trying all this stuff, and then be like, man, it's that bullshit, man. What? I'm not doing all that, man. And then been like having like, you know, a Yashito underling doing a kind of quiet and like honing those guys into shape. And you could have had a whole big thing of just like, yeah, they're getting. The muscles are getting tighter and they're getting more intense, and they're going through the Yashito like mind, you know, whatever he does to prepare these guys mentally, because this seems more like they're in a cult more than anything, really. But so yeah, I think it feels like it could have been, but then maybe like, no, we have to, the seriousness of Jeff's passing, we have to, you know.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to make light of the situation,
or at least have it be like these guys are training, and then pan over. And have, like, Jeff's crew all, like, sharpening their hunting knives and, like, getting out the bike chains and swinging them in the air to look like, look, but they got to deal with two kinds of crap now. Like, they got these friggin' biker nuts and us also the insane ninja squads here. Like, we're getting brawn and skill kind of coming in here at the same time. So, it's, yeah, I just feel like you know, there should have been more emphasis on the fact that, like, yeah, now the army has doubled. What, you know, in some way.
That would actually be, a really good thing to focus on, because it's gone from an impossible situation to an unheard of situation. Like, how are they going to take down these two gangs united?
Yeah. And as I said, I always really would like to have seen a little bit of a compare and contrast. You know, just a little moment of it. Because I know we do see you know, Vader and Kid Rock again later. And Floyd, all the old gang are still there somewhere.
All the faves, you know. Now it's mostly ninjas, though, isn't it? Which is cool, because I love a good ninja movie. Have you noticed, actually, I mean, people might laugh at me and be like, yes, this is definitely the answer. Have you noticed, like, let's say second 18, that they're holding their hands out, you know, in like a sort of like a palm strike position. Every single ninja has like a ring on their middle finger. And I was thinking, actually, is that like a strap? Because if you notice, the arm thing sort of goes along the top of the hand, the back of the hand. Is that like a strap that holds it on?
I assume so. It'll be the same thing as, remember the Riddler had it in Batman Forever. He had his spandex, and he had a little thing around his thumb to kind of keep it like taut and stuff. And I think you'll see it like... You see it sometimes on, like, you know, Barbara Streisand will come out in a kind of very elaborate outfit, and she'll have things like that there to keep everything in place. So, yeah, I imagine it is, because they don't want the sleeves rolling back. Because then that's a distraction, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing. If you're a ninja in combat, the last thing you want to be thinking about is your fucking sleeve.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess they don't, like, I don't know, the ninjas don't strike me as, like, the watch-wearing type or anything either, so...
No, that might glisten.
Yeah.
give away your position, won't it?
Plus, it's the personalized property on you. They're like, no. Everything has to be uniform and stuff.
You're like faceless. When you're in ninja mode, you are a faceless, like a clay golem. Almost,
yeah. I'm saying that whole thing again in Batman Begins, when like part of Bruce Wayne's training is having to track down where Henry Deckard, Liam Neeson is.
Oh yeah.
But amongst the whole army of ninjas, and they've all got the hoods on, he just has to kind of make out like where could he be, kind of thing. And his one little maneuver.
There you go, yeah.
The one little maneuver he does is like he slits a couple of guys' arms to be like, I know those guys. Then I've used my cleverness to like those guys, so I'll know when they move where they've gone to.
Well, it's like the way people tag animals in the wild, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's also shown how hardcore the League of Shadows are as well, because it's like, you just, what can I do? I'll just slash these guys in the arm with my sword, so I know where they are. And the guys don't say anything. They're just like,
that's fine. Yeah,
got cut by the dude. So like, no, what are you doing? Martial art cool. You didn't tell us that was going to happen.
This is meant to be trading.
I'm supposed to be taking Becky out later. Now I got a big cut in my arm.
Aww.
But yeah, there's a real glory shot, around second 20, with like all these ninjas rolling and then doing like the little forward palm thing. Yeah. It's very again, it looks almost like a recruitment video for like YK Kim's Taekwondo thing. Look, you could be part of my weird ninja cult now as well.
There's I might have said this before. There's at least one ninja school in Liverpool. I believe there is now 2 to 3. Because I was looking it up the other day. I nothing to do with this actually. I wasn't looking it up for minutes.
Are you doing like you're going like method podcasting? It's like I am going to become a ninja, and I'm going to tell you how accurate this is, even though we only got like 20 minutes left or whatever.
No, I have looked at doing ninjutsu before, but no, it wasn't even for that. I can't remember what it was. I think it was because I was because I just love learning. I get randomly obsessed with things because I have ADHD and I'm neurodivergent. So I just decided for 3 days straight, all I'm going to learn about is Zen Buddhism. That's it. Nothing. So like 9 hours straight, I'm just listening to things about Zen. And it led me to this. There is the, here we go. I found it. Yeah. Bujinkan, Liverpool. The only authorized Bujinkan dojo in Liverpool. Taught under guidance by Daishihan Graham Clunan.
Oh, like Graham there really threw me off, but all right.
Yeah, I mean they have a proper lineage though. There's actual Japanese people who come over. Masaki Hatsumi, he's famous, and you'll be sad to know there are only 4 weeks left until the Takai.
Oh no!
Registration ends January the 19th, and hotel rooms are going quick.
I mean, maybe we should go and see.
I mean, yeah, I do want to. That'd be amazing. This is like proper. This is legit, like old school. I mean, the Japanese guy who comes over is about 100 years old.
I think maybe if we like put, I don't know if they have commentators, but like, could we bring a couple episodes of this show and be like, listen to our talk about? We clearly know about martial arts. Do you want people to do a Ramen commentary? Because then we'll put it up on Tox's TV and stuff like that.
That would actually be amazing. Things like this, they wouldn't have it. They do it like other things, like Taekwondo events, actually. Things that have been turned more into a sport. So Taekwondo, Wushu, things like judo, things like that. Things that have been made more sport-like. They actually might have things like that. We could be to martial arts what Pistol Shrimps Radio was to local community basketball.
Yeah. Well, why not? Let's go for it. We get matching.
I listened to that show for like 3 years.
And got matching like yellow jackets and stuff, and go down there and just to be really cheese it up and do the proper. Let's get ready to Taekwondo.
Oh, nice swerve because he's trademarked Ready to Rumble.
Oh yeah. I just remember too, like in Cobra Kai when like. So remember the when you go to like the All Valley Championship in 1984, it's like it's a gym, like it's just held at a gym, and then because the show has more money, they go to the All Valley Championship and there's like a freaking stadium and all this stuff, and then they get like Carrie Underwood to come out and perform like it's the moment of truth, and everyone's just like, what the hell is happening? Like, Why did it get so big?
But it's also perfectly sort of commentating on American culture, I think, and the way it's gone.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And people hated that scene too. Carrie Underwood. I was like, oh, she's clearly just some fan who wanted to perform. I was like, yeah, it was great.
I loved it. Yeah,
it was so clearly just that. And also, they just did like a nice little montage to a song from the original movie, sang in a different way, all that. You know,
Yeah.
I was into it.
I was into it too.
But anyhow.
But you know who's into this is Yashito, because he's here to oversee the troops.
I don't know. He strikes me as a man who's he's distracted, John. I'd say Yashito, because he's, of course, thinking about the many, many times that him and Jeff spent together.
Like that one time we saw earlier in the film.
Yeah, the treasured memories. Yeah, it's got such like energy of like little Bart, little Lisa, little Marge, and the rest.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Because it's not even like them at the bar.
No, they filmed several scenes together. Maybe they thought it was
them when they had this business meeting earlier.
Maybe they did like someone. Maybe this was one of the few times someone stepped in when YK was like editing, and they're like, he had a whole montage of Yashito and Jeff like together doing stuff and laughing, and he's like, it's gonna track is different than what you're thinking, YK. It's gonna look like he's like in love with the guy, which is of course is a thing that we've been joking about the whole movie. But,
I don't think it's a joke.
I think it's whole, you know. But of course, then in the same suit, I might add, we had Jeff Jr. there cramping their style in the background. This is like, oh, you come also. Yashito comes and goes, oh, you wear that. Also, maybe Jeff's funeral hasn't happened yet. Maybe this is his Yashito meeting uniform, where he's like, I can't go up and just, because Jeff's dressed up. Although this was the business meeting, they went out to meet another guy and stuff as well. But
but Jeff wants to show off because he knew that the other guys were going to be there.
Yeah. Oh, no, he was
I need to look the best for my Yashito. You know?
I can't show up in the same outfit as Jeff Jr. Like, they'll think we're weirdos or something. And he gets there, he sees all the ninjas, he's like, oh no, I guess they wouldn't have thought that was that weird. They're all dressed in the same outfit anyway. But.
Well, we get, and you see Yashito's lovely, I was going to say kimono, but I think technically that's not a kimono. You'd think I would know this. I'm not sure, but I believe it may be the summer variation.
Oh.
And I can't remember what the fuck the.
Of course, as someone who grew up playing GTA 1, it reminds me very much of the Hare Krishna robes. And the glorious times.
Win them all over.
Yeah, when the sweet pleasure of once you got a line of Hare Krishna guys and you ran them all over in the one go.
Yeah.
And you just had big red and orange blood splatter on the It was pretty cool. Cool.
I did used to love that.
I don't know, I'm sure it must have worked out. Shockingly, it might be to some people. It's so popular a franchise. The only game I played properly was GTA 1. Just I didn't keep up with the franchise. Really? I know it went on to bigger and bigger heights. I played a lot of GTA 5 because I had that in the people I lived with at the time had it. So I was like, oh, I'll play a bit of this. But
yeah, I was 1, 3, 4, and 5. I only had the demo of 2.
Yeah, but I don't know. I remember it being like, because I was so into 1, and then they released like the GTA London. And I'm like, oh my God. And I don't think I ever played it. Oh no, I did. I played it on a PS1 like emulator years and years later. I remember being like, oh, it's just like it's just like the first. Oh, I know, I played it way more than that because I actually had it on the laptop. I remember realizing it was so primitive a game in modern standards that like, oh, you can just play it on the laptop now. So. I played a little bit of GTA London, but
well, I think I've probably got it. I bought every single GTA game on Steam. So let's Grand Theft Auto. That's the only one that you can't get on Steam.
Oh wow!
I've got GTA, GTA 2, GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas, GTA 4, GTA 5. But so no London.
I feel though that and entering into any serious conversation about GTA with people. Because they're all gonna be like, oh yeah, the Miami and all this, and I'm gonna be like, remember when like the cops were nearby, and I go like,
Yeah.
And they'll be like, it hasn't done that since 1998.
I always have thought that sounded a bit like the probe droid in Star Wars.
It does have a very probe droidish energy to it. Like, but my big question would be to people like, so can you still? They have to keep in things like that, right? Running over the Hare Krishnas and stuff like that's like a GTA staple to me. It's like,
it's all gone.
Well.
Yeah.
I thought they just throw it because it's big. They're doing entire cities. Who's to say there wouldn't be a line of Hare Krishna guys who you could just mow down in one fell swoop? But
I agree. Yep. I've just looked up, by the way. 69 is London.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out there's two. There's 69 and 61. Oh my god! I didn't make that connection. Holy shit! London 69 is free on Rockstar's website.
Ah, there you go.
You haven't got to pay anything. It's just free.
Because information coming to you from Miami Minutes 69. So there you go. All ties in.
Listeners, that was not a setup. Let me just say, this isn't like a bit we've been working on.
Rocksteady coming in with our big bag with a pound signed on it. Oh, good. Our laundry is done.
I think I've remembered the name of the other kimono.
Okay.
Now, I think it's the yukata. Because the yukata is like it's a like casual version made of like lighter materials. It's a bit more summery. I think the literal translation is like bathing robe or bathing cloth or something like that. So it's more like, you get out of the onsen and you put that on. But people do wear them in the summer as well. So I think maybe that is the yukata rather than a kimono, because a kimono is much bigger.
Yeah.
It's heavier, it's like layered and big sleeves and things like that.
But maybe that's why you pause it there. Jeff Jr. in the back's really giving Yashito kind of like a bit of a side eye. Like he's got so maybe he's just like, what's this robe? Is he wearing a summer robe to an autumn meeting? We all know, this is clearly late September. You should be making the transition now, man.
Maybe they've shared a nice time at the Japanese spa together, though. Because in Japanese bath houses, you have to be nude.
Well, I mean, I think I do remember just distinctly talking about like Jeff showing up for a business meeting and like Yashito being in bathing wear and been like, "Yes, Jeff, come spend time with me," and been like, "Why don't we meet this other guy?"
Hey, it wouldn't be that unheard of, in Japan.
Maybe that's why Yashito's thinking of this one memory. It's just like that time I tricked him into the sauna with me.
Yeah. You don't see that bit because that's when it then fades back to him now, and he's like,
Is because the memory actually is Yashito bollock naked in the sauna and Jeff's still in the suit, just like okay.
in the sauna.
It's just like, so guys, he's meeting us in here, right?
That'd be amazing. Holy shit.
And Jeff Jr. outside been like, he told me to intercede if things got weird. Is this weird? It's like, this is exactly when you should have been saying, "Oh, Jeff, you got a phone call," or something. Like, get me out of there, you goddamn idiot.
But he is here to sort of look over the troops as best he can with things on his mind, isn't he?
Yeah.
Only the best are going to be needed now, because Dragon Sound have to pay.
Yeah. It's going to have to get into a full tilt. Look at that. I'm really hung up, though, on whether Jeff got a proper burial or not, though. Because now, if this was just I assume Jeff Jr. was coming from the funeral, but he might just be like, no, this is what you have to wear when you meet the guy. So is Jeff still just like gathering flies over with his head cracked open in that construction site? Like, what's going on?
I reckon either they threw him into the sea. Well, you can't take him to the
sea.
You can't take him to the funeral home. There'll be questions,
Well, that's the thing. That's what I mean.
They either threw him into the sea or they ate him to consume his power.
Yeah, but it would have been cool if they brought they brought the body to Yashito, and then he tore out his heart and ate it, and then that was and then they were like, Jesus Christ, these guys are psychos, and then well, you're with us, you're either with us or you're against us, kind of thing. that would have been end of that, or he does a full on Molo Ram, rips out his heart and just bursts into flame in his hands. He's like, yes, they will not escape the Miami Ninja.
Well, we've seen his affinity for flame.
That's what I mean. Yeah, there we go. It would have been perfect. But
I agree. I'd be into that. I suppose then after that, it's pretty much after that we then cut. There's not much going on there, is it?
Yeah, I think it's mournful, wistful Yashito. I have to say, in the flashback, I was really beginning to question his hairline there as well. Like, I've never looked at Yashito's hair with any sort of like. But as a man who's gone bald myself,
you know what to look for.
I keep track of these things, and I was like, that's a weak hairline you got going there, Yashito. That's a very much. It almost looks like it's bordering on comb over.
Yeah, it's thinning. It's thinning. I experienced that.
Yeah. So it's just, I'm sure since 1987, his hair has probably changed quite a bit. But
I'm sure he's got better hair than ever.
He's like, no, it's exactly, I've not lost one follicle. Not in 30 years.
I'll defend him because I feel his pain. I feel, you do. We've been there. We've been there ourselves, and it's not nice. There's that weird period where you should shave it, but you've not quite done it yet.
You're like, I can still get away with this, right? And like, nah, you're not, man.
And you catch the sight of yourself in like a mirror in a club bathroom, and you're like, oh, no.
I used to always, it was always like, I just remember a guy I know just like look, like as I was talking to him this entire time, I could just see him looking at my hair, like at my hairline. I was just like, so if he's getting distracted by it, then therefore it must go, kind of thing. So
yeah,
because if he's thinking about it, then I'm thinking about it, and it's another thing I want people to be thinking about. So just bite the bullet, kind of thing. So
not only do you look younger, which I think I may have brought up on the show before, but it also looks like it might be a decision. You chose to shave your head. You're cool. You're like Vin Diesel. Hang on, he's not cool now.
Yeah,
he's possibly cancelled as we record this.
Well, not much happened with that. That was a one story, kind of like, hey, what the hell? And then just like, no mention of it since, But,
no, I really, really hope it's not true because I love Vin Diesel.
Yeah. But it's a pretty damning. If people aren't aware of the story, to go look it up. But it's like a pretty damning, like, holy well, if he did that, then yeah, that is a rightful. Yeah, the guy has to go to like prison basically for that. Like that ain't like a kind of like what do you call him, the Parks and Rec guy, where it's like, oh, it's a bad date and people are just complaining cancellation. This is like Vin Diesel is a proper sex pest kind of thing. Like he deserves to go down kind of stuff.
So I really hope it's not true, but at the same time, I won't make any judgment either way until we at least get some information. Maybe when people hear this, we'll have all the info. I don't know, but. As of recording, we don't. So, that's brought the episode down.
I mean, to bring it back up, we're back. Take that pin up, baby. We're back at the door.
Woo! Also, you see Jim come out of the door. I know we're going to talk about the door, but Jim comes out of the door with his pants undone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hide your shame.
No, what's he got to be ashamed of?
You don't think of your neighbor. I'm saying think of your neighbors. I walk around in front of my bedroom window with the curtains open in the nude. So I'm the naked window neighbor. I don't care. What are you gonna do? See my dick? That's on you. That's your problem.
I remember one time distinctly being with a partner, and we were making our way from room to room in a kind of weird, like trying to get good. It was a wild morning. Let me tell you.
Oh, okay.
But I remember her when we stepped out and the way the window was positioned, we're a couple of floors up, and she had a bit of a freak out, going, "Oh no, we're not doing it in front of the window. You're not one of those guys." I was like, no. We just have to go past that to get there. But it was her initial thing of like, no, I see where this is going. I'm not one of those people. It's like
I get the worry because I might walk past the window nude, but I'm not going to do anything untoward. It's just I'm only doing it because I need to go and get some pants.
and it's a recognized kink. Just the kind of it's in that Michael Fassbender movie Shame, where you see literally every part of his body.
See, I won't kink shame, but I don't really like people who forcibly make other people see them.
Well, that's the thing with that. It's kind of like. Because I will never kink shame people and doing whatever they want in the privacy of their own homes. But when you're like your whole thing is like, yes, we're going to do it right up against a window, a couple of floors up, and hope that people see us and are like, oh, or like, ooh, I'm into it. It's like no, now you're bringing in other uninterested parties into your thing. So it's like you're not, and you don't know how it's going to affect their day. Like you don't know what they're going to make of that.
Well, a little kid could walk past. I don't want to sound like a hysterical sort of suburban mom. But, if you want people to watch you like that, I mean, there's cameras, there's internet. Yeah. You can't. Surely that's at least a compromise. I don't know.
No, I'm sure there probably will be things like, no, it's not live enough. You know what I mean? maybe he's got an eye on a neighbor. He's like, well, I just want to make sure that he or she or they, see what's on offer.
That's true. Maybe it's a little flirty tactic of like, well, I'll make sure they conveniently see me with my top off and my pants undone.
Although it's the same time he's been in this exact same position. Maybe it's just a fashion statement. Maybe like, oh, this isn't him going to the shower. It's like, this is just the look of the summer of like 86 was, towel over the shoulder, insanely tight jeans undone. Like that's what everybody was wearing back then.
I suppose those jeans are very tight. You maybe can't do them up.
That's very much had the vibe of like, if he does them up, he's gonna be uncomfortable for the rest of the day. He's just gonna be sitting there squirming, just like dying to get out. He's just like prolonging his morning by being like, I'm just letting the little Jim breathe.
Well, especially because neither of us are very big on jeans.
No.
So they're uncomfortable at the best of times.
Yeah, I never cared for the feel of a jean. It's not my.
I've got one single pair of jeans, and that's because they're acid washed purple. And I was like, okay, I'll suffer the jean material to wear acid washed purple pants.
But yeah, I have to say, so that door it looks like the knocker, good knocker.
Oh, hey, you like a good knocker.
Yeah, of course, then we've mentioned the post flap, which is apparently redundant at this point.
So you're into knockers and flaps, okay?
He's got a nice knocker up top, very very loose flap down the bottom there. But also have to say, like that's a steep step coming out too. That's a proper like mind your way kind of thing coming out of there. There's like I can imagine some people have not twisted ankles, but like at least on that, you go over your foot and you're just like, for like a good, 10 minutes after.
And then again, I used to have a similar-ish step in one of my houses in Pakistan, which I assumed was probably to keep horrible animals out, which might be the same in Florida. Because they have a lot of similar kind of horrific beasties that Pakistan does. I mean, Pakistan, you just get all kinds of fucking horrible scorpions and shit.
Yeah.
So anything to sort of prevent things from getting in, it could be that, maybe.
Well, I thought it would need to be a lot taller than that, though. Like, because you still, a scorpion or whatever or a big spider, you get up that easily,
Anything to deter them, though. Like, for instance, I was told when I was living there, don't fall asleep downstairs, because something will get you. But they can't really get up the stairs. So if you go upstairs, you're all right. You'd wake up and there'd be like a gecko next to your face on the pillow, and which is horrific. But it's not a fucking scorpion.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get scorpions in Florida, but my understanding is you get a lot of horrendous creatures. Isn't it like Gator Town? I mean, that wouldn't stop a gator, but I'm talking about just in general.
Maybe that's why though. It's like, everyone else has been encouraged to like nail their flaps shut.
Oh, that's a kink as well.
Well, it's maybe for the Cenobites,
Oh.
But like maybe they might be. It's like, oh no, you can't have those holes on your door. You nuts? Like the kind of get in. So it's like
it's possible.
You might get like a baby alligator could come and slip into it somehow.
Well, they do seem quite paranoid in general, because if you look at the door, is it just me, or below the knob, which is between the knocker and the flap, there's a knob. Is there also some kind of a security kind of code thing?
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah.
Like you'd get in an office.
It's either that, or it looks, from this distance and this, the picture quality, it could also be like a thing you would leave at a hotel to indicate that like the room is to be cleaned or whatever. Like,
oh yeah.
It just looks like a little thing. It's like, oh, flap is like, occupied or whatever is written on it.
Maybe they have a maid come round. They're orphans. They never said they were poor.
Yeah, that's wow. We kind of got the vague idea that might have been poor, but it could be.
That's our interpretation of what we're seeing.
It could be, because I remember in not my halls, but my friends' university halls, they used to have a cleaner. Used to come around. This is when the first year when it was like all 18-year-olds.
Yeah, but that makes sense for uni halls, whereas this is like an off-site thing.
But this could be like campus housing. So there could be that like, the university's been, no, we have, if we don't have someone come out to clean every week, they could just trash this place.
Which they would, they're students.
Yeah. And then, again, that was the thing. Like I remember her name was Julie. And she used to come around, and I remember I was so thankful I didn't have one, because it's like, oh, it'd be so annoying that every Monday they'd have some woman coming in and cleaning your room when you didn't want her there. But it was just like, this is the university policy that they do this. And it was just like, that would infuriate me. But like, just for the inconvenience and just like the invasion of privacy and stuff.
Yeah.
But even with that, like Julie was complaining, like, these rooms are getting wrecked because these guys are not taking care of them. So, like, it makes sense to me if they did have, like, particularly, if this is University of Central Florida, that's not a cheap school. That's a fairly prestigious kind of place. That they're like, we have to protect our investment in the housing, and so we have cleaners come out, and if they see anything that's like this, you need to step in here, guys, because Jesus Christ, this house is gonna get wrecked if you don't do something. So maybe,
I've just looked up the tuition fees today. It says average cost after aid, which is grants and things like that, $9,217.
Wow.
That's
nice.
after aid. Average cost before aid, so if you don't get any of that stuff, $24,036.
God damn. Yeah.
Which is insane. Like, because American listeners, I don't know if you know, but here it's like there's a flat fee, which is basically like the $9,200 odd dollars, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it might have gone up slightly now, but it's like £10,000 or something like that. No matter where you go, I'm sure there are some exceptions, like fucking Eton.
Yeah.
Things like that, but usually it's a flat fee, and you just get given the money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've never heard of someone applying for a university loan and getting turned down. Like, it's always just like, we're...
Well, I got one even as a mature student. I worked full time, and I just randomly was like, can I go to university? And they were like, yeah, sure, it is £10,000. I was like, thanks. Nice one. Thanks. That'll cover me for 6 years. Thank you.
Yeah. But, like, so if there's that much, there could be that they're like, oh, there's a maid service kind of involved in that too. You go in there, so
maybe. Oh my God! Sorry, there's a stat here, right? The graduation rate 76%. Okay, fine. People drop out, all these kind of things. The acceptance rate 36%.
Whew! Holy, well, so that's University of Central Florida.
Yep.
So maybe unless standards have changed since the 80s. That means Dragon Sound, they ain't no dull tools. Like they really have some skills.
That's a low rate. I mean, maybe by American standards that's not, but to me that's crazy.
No. It seems like nuts. Because even that's always the thing with university. Like they always like really make you stress out about like when you're in secondary school, like getting the grades to get into university, and then you discover, even if you failed, you might still just get in.
Yeah, they don't really care that much.
Yeah, it's like this thing clearing. It's like, there's any other spots open. Yeah, what'd you get, like 5 E's? Yeah, that's fine. You can do it. You can come to this as well.
Well, here's my tip to listeners if you're English, right? Do it as a mature student. Just wait a couple of years till you're technically a mature student. I was a terrible, terrible, terrible student as a kid. My A-levels, which are what get you into university, awful. Awful. I mean, my history one was an E at AS, which is step 1. I dropped out of history for step 2, A level, the full A level. I didn't even do it.
And you became a history student.
Now I'm a history graduate. Yeah, exactly. Because if you just wait a couple of years where you're technically a mature student, they don't give a flying fuck, and they just go, yeah, whatever, fine.
You just come in. Yeah, but it's like, I'm assuming you've changed since. And I mean, you're an adult. You should be able to do this. Yeah, fine, go ahead.
Exactly. They couldn't care less as long as you're not just a fucking moron teenager. They're not really bothered anymore. They're like, yeah, fine. Here's the money. Just do the work in your own time.
Yeah. Well, but yeah. So then we get Jim swaggering his way out there to the old post box.
Oh yeah, it's a sassy little mince, isn't it?
And
oh, hang on a minute, I've forgotten a key thing. He's topless.
Yeah.
Take a drink. Well, he's got a towel. Double drink.
Yeah, there we go. And this would have been a thing back in, of course, with the Batman films, where like they're films that are big enough for people to have like upgraded them to HD and 4K and all this kind of stuff, we would have been able to have seen everything that was written on that paper he takes out.
Yeah.
But in Miami Connection, sadly, has not gotten that treatment. And so, no. I have no idea what anything was on that paper.
I tried to zoom in, and it was a lost cause.
Yeah. I think it's upside down for one thing as well. So we're already starting us off on the wrong foot.
I'm sure there's a way to flip the video, but I just turned my head upside down. Didn't help.
What was the thing I was watching? What was the thing? Oh, no, it was when we did Jack Frost. That was right. Yeah, because like it establishes that he can feel pain. Michael Keaton returns to life as a snowman. Establishes that he can feel pain, and then later on he takes off his own head to see something. And you're like, isn't that horrific? Like, I would never tear off my own head, even if I knew I would survive it, because it's like, yeah, that would really, really hurt.
I think you get to a point where, okay, you feel pain, but you know you can't die from it. So you just, it kind of negates the pain. It makes you a bit zen. You're like, okay, I'm going to hurt for this one specific moment, but I know nothing bad is going to happen.
So I was gonna say like Wolverine, although he's like the least zen man ever conceived. His whole thing is rage, but yet he still has that thing of like, yeah, go into fights and they don't give a crap. Yeah, it's insanely painful, but I know I'll live, so whatever.
So in a weird way, it is quite zen, even though it's rage based. It's a strange sort of combination of things because he knows what's coming, he knows it's gonna hurt, but he's made peace with that.
Yeah.
Because he knows it's a fleeting thing. He's not attached to comfort.
That's the one thing that I doubt they'll ever, particularly now with the MCU, if they're doing X-Men. So I don't think they would go anywhere near that kind of material. But like there's a whole thing with Wolverine where at one point, like Magneto removes the adamantium from his skeleton.
Whoa.
And it nearly kills him because it's just like, yeah, just out of, like, all right.
Does he like rip it off his bones?
He rips it off his bones and knowing that, he'll survive it, right? And it just seems like that'll be the most horrifically painful thing. I think Wolverine does say it's like, yeah, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But also you're like, that would be such a cool scene for a movie. That would be some Hellraiser stuff right there.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're not going to do that.
To be honest, yeah, that might be pushing it a bit.
Yeah, it's like, they're bringing back the X-Men. Like, they've done everything with the X-Men already. I don't even know why people are excited to see more of them because it's like, well, they're running. Like, this is a freaking Phoenix Saga twice for Christ's sake. Well, that's to negate the fact there's been many, many X-Men storylines that got amazing villains that never even went near like Mr. Sinister and stuff. So I was like, there's still plenty of gas left in the X-Men cinematic tank. But I can't imagine them, like Marvel ever. Like they're one of the major problems is that like, so keep things silly and funny. And then even when they have things that would be potentially good, disturbing ideas for like, remember when kids' movies used to have things in them that would just mess you up as a kid because they're like. So there's the idea, the possibility of where it's right there, but they never touch it. They always make it silly.
Yeah. We should break the connection. Note it out. The only thing I have briefly, commentary track, not much. Just more praise of Karate Kid, really. They go on about that again. But the interviewer throws a little dig in there about American Ninja. Because he points out, he says, it's violence for the sake of violence.
Going for Michael Dudikoff, eh? Trying to take down one of the big shots, huh?
As an American Ninja fan, I was a bit taken aback.
Maybe this could have been like had Miami Connection been more successful. You could have had the great rivalry between Dudikoff and YK Kim.
And then the crossover movie, once the franchises are all burned out.
Oh, yeah, once you do your Expendables years later, then it's like YK Kim and Michael Dudikoff together at last.
Finally! It's what the world's been waiting for.
What do they call it? What's that? Cynthia Rothrock as well. She was another one of those. So, like, back in the early 90s, it was like, it's a Cynthia Rothrock movie. It's like, what does that mean? I mean, it's terrible, but she's a good martial artist. So
that's all that matters, right? Yeah.
That's what it is. There, you're watching. You know what you're watching. Although I actually think, like, any Cynthia Rothrock movie I've watched, I was like, she's really good. Like, as an actress as well, I think she's quite a charming presence. But
no, I agree totally. I think the same about Michael Dudikoff, though.
To be fair, YK Kim. So I take it all back then.
But I thought that was a shocking little dig by the interviewer as well, not even Kim or anyone.
Maybe he thought like this commentary is dying on the vine. I got
to keep going on about Karate Kid.
This is like, don't you guys hate pants?
That could have been his approach, but that's all of interest that came up in this.
Yeah, I mean, iconic moment coming up next too. It was one of those things of like watching the last few seconds tick out. It's like, is he gonna say it? Are we gonna get it in this minute? It's like, no, it's the next minute. But
you know what's coming. You know, listeners, do you know? If you do know, don't tell us because you ruin it for people who don't know. Tell yourself.
I'm sure you're all around the water cooler every Monday talking about that last Saturday's episode of Miami Minutes.
Oh yeah, that's why we release on Saturdays, so that on Monday, when people go into work at the office, they can talk about the show. We're very big in office environments.
We're going to try to put it out on 8 p.m. on a Sunday night, so you can mentally scar your children because they our theme tune will always remind them of going back to school.
Yeah.
That's why I think I have mentioned it before because I hate it so much. But there used to be a UK soap called Heartbeat.
I'm exactly the same. Yep.
Yeah. I think as everyone around our age has the same vibe of like every Sunday at 8 p.m. your parents would watch Heartbeat.
Yeah, I'd watch like You've Been Framed, then I'd have a bath, and when I got out the bath, Heartbeat would be on.
Yeah, and that was the signal of weekend's over.
Yep.
I was like, nah, man, things are gonna get bad. Like, fun's done. Fun's staying on the ground now. Like, you gotta go to bed, and then you're gonna get up, and you're gonna spend the next 5 days in misery. All right?
Yeah, basically, yeah, in prison.
Yeah. And so it's the theme tune was just the song Heartbeat. So Heartbeat, this is a Cliff Richard song, I believe originally, but. And yeah, if you talk to any person who grew up in Ireland or England or Scotland or Wales, probably throughout the 1990s, if you mention Heartbeat, they'll probably be like, I really hate Heartbeat because you know why?
Sadly, not Heartbeeps.
No, Heartbeeps. For some reason, ITV decided to show the Andy Kaufman robot love classic Heartbeeps every
To be fair,
Sunday
that's
night.
boss music.
I mean, it does. But, I'm still kind of slowly waiting for the Heartbeeps renaissance.
Heartbeeps Minute.
It's gonna be a Heartbeats. There's enough to cover with Andy Kaufman himself, but that would get you through a whole minute by minute.
Kaufman cast.
I'm surprised he must have because the podcasting landscape is so packed. There's gotta be everything exists now. I feel must have a podcast about it. So I'm rewatching Gargoyles. And I've not looked, but I can guarantee there will be an episode by episode show about gargoyles somewhere.
I still maintain nobody's done a Thunder in Paradise Hulk Hogan show. I'm going to do it.
That would be shocking. No, nobody had thought to do that,
And my Baywatch Nights idea. Has anyone done Baywatch Nights? I don't know, maybe.
Oh, no, Baywatch, no. I think anything Baywatch affiliated, I believe, would get, something like that. Heartbeat, maybe people hated it enough. The people who watched
Angel.
The people who watched it back in the day are too old now to know what podcasting is. My dad every time still calls it a broadcast. So you're doing a broadcast today. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Hang on, my life has been destroyed. I found out there is a Baywatch Nights podcast called Evenings with Mitch Buchanan.
Yeah, no, it's too lucrative.
Well, they haven't posted an episode since 1st of December 2021, and the description has, sorry for the massive delay. That also, always is a sign. As soon as people do that, your show's ended.
And that was the last one they did.
The last one they did, which was episode 22, which, to be fair, I don't think there's that many more episodes. They're near the end. There's not a lot of Baywatch Nights.
That's real. It's like, dude, just go back, get back in the studio. Unless, 2021, maybe COVID got them. You never know.
That's the best time to podcast. That's how I got all my guests for my Hedwig shows, because they were all locked away.
I mean, maybe
now
COVID,
that everyone's free again, I can't get any.
Maybe these guys, these are Baywatch Nights fans. They're out on the beach every day. They're not caring about the rules.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm saying COVID got them. They ain't around the podcast anymore. So we have to pick. Can we sweep in and be like, yes, we'd like to do the last 4 episodes of Baywatch Nights for you guys.
Yeah, you know what? I don't care anyway. It's I had the idea. I think before they were around.
No, in fact, it's not as if if you people will listen to multiple of the thing. If they haven't aired in years, I know there's episode by episode shows about Hannibal, and I would still do one of those. It's well, Hannibal fans will be like, well, I heard that one years ago.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's been long enough now, right?
Yeah, it's I'll listen to another one. I'll just go into this one, or they might chop it. It depends if you're good enough. you get out the other ones. They're like,
Well, you could do the Hannibal show and then do the movies.
Yeah.
Do the show episode by episode and then switch into a minute by minute for the films.
Although that'd be weird getting into like, Manhunter and Red Dragon, because we're essentially doing the same film twice. Very different, though.
Compare and contrast.
And then also, this was the last couple episodes of the show as well.
Compare and contrast.
But anyhow, yes. Shall we break the connection and get? Yeah, I'm excited for next week now, though, because it's a big honking minute coming up.
It is indeed, and we love knockers, flaps, and honkers, and knobs. So if you want to get all of those and more, do join us again in 1 week. You'll just have flaps and honkers galore, non-stop. Speak to us on Facebook at the Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage, Twitter at Miami Minutes, Instagram Miami Minutes. What else? I don't know. Patreon, TeePublic. Look us up. Send us an email, miamiminutespodcast@gmail.com. And the website, miamiminutes.kim, is still up because I got the message yesterday that they are about to take the £40 a year out of my account. So do check that out. And yes, join us again in 1 week for more Miami Minutes. Flaps.
Memories from the corner of my mind.
Heartbeat.
Oh, there we go. What does your Jeff Kiss do?
Listen to me.